We're having a moment of silence for all those class attributes out there. All the pseudo selectors lost. And here we're back. Okay, we were working on advanced CSS selectors. We selected with a dot anything with a certain class. We've talked about contextual selectors, list items inside of other list items. There is more we can do. I'm going to start with hyperlinks now and talk about the different categories we can do. Now, let me just show you something here. We're going to use a pseudo selector. I'm going to put a li colon hover. Now, I don't recommend you necessarily do this. And in fact, that brings me to a really important lesson in CSS is just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Okay? Just remember that. So just because we can have a hover effect on our list item doesn't mean we should do that. So what if I do a font, what if I do a color of 336699? That's my favorite hex color code right there. Okay, so it's when we hover. Okay, so now we go back to the page, hit refresh. Look what happens. I hover. Everything inside of it gets that too. Okay. So that shows me that whenever you put hover, it means anything you hover over. So let's do it instead of list item. Let's do it as an H1 instead. Save our changes. Go back over. Hit refresh. And now when I hover over my header 1, it changes. Remember I told you how header 1s are block level tags? Watch this. If I'm hovering over on the right, it also gets the hover effect because this header 1 is as wide as the entire screen. So let me change the background color to go with it. And I'm going to put some form of gray, 555. Save our changes. Hit refresh. And now when we hover, see how it does that? So you can see the hover effect is working way over here on the edge of my screen. That's because that is a block level tag. Okay? So if you want to do that, you can. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to change the hover effect for my anchors. So one of the things I recommend you do before we go ahead and do this, I want to remind you of a great color tool out there, Colors on the Web, and the Color Wizard. So guys, colorsontheweb.com/colorwizard.asp, or just go to Colors on the Web and go to Color Tools, Color Wizard. What I like about this is we can plug in one color here and get other colors similar, like 336699. Hold on, I have to do it over here. And set. So there's that color. And now I got different hue variations. So we can do different hyperlink states using that color. We can make them all brighter, like dragging everything over a little bit more. Or we can just randomize a few times. Get a nice, bright, highly saturated color. Those work for good hyperlinks. Nice, bright ones. The next bright one I get, I'll just use it as my sample. Okay, I guess that one was, but... Oh, okay, we'll start with this one. In fact, that's very much like our standard hyperlink, so we'll change it again. Okay, here we go. My recommendation is you get one of these colors and then look at the hue variations or saturation variations or even tint and shade. So we're going to create some different hyperlinks. We want the brightest ones to be the active or the regular links, a little bit more muted for a visited link, and then maybe a really bright one for when you're hovering over it. So we're going to start with our standard link color, and let's try out this particular color. So we go over here, create a colon hover. Actually, we're going to start a link, excuse me. And we're going to give it a color. Oops. My laptop is giving me troubles. A link, we get this color. While we're at it, we should do a hover. And let's go ahead and apply the other color when we're hovering over it. Maybe we'll get this color here. we'll play around with them a little bit once they're on and we can test them. Okay, so I got to save my changes. They're saved. Go back over here, hit refresh. See my link, my hover, my links. So they're not changing when I hover over them. Maybe I should try an A. I'm going to use this same color here. So A link, A hover is not seeming to work for me. Why could that be? I'll check it out. Well, guys, for one, I recommend if you're going to have a hover effect, you might want to change the color. I use the same exact color for all these. Don't know how that happened. Okay, how embarrassing. All right, let's get another color for hovering. Control-C, double-click, Control-V. Good, new color. Save, refresh, hover. There we go. Now, these colors are hard to see, so I need a darker color, I think. But at least you can see how this is working. So my recommendation is you go around and you try some different colors. The last thing I want to mention is the order in which these pseudo selectors happen can have an impact on the effect. So my recommendation, guys, by the way, A and A link are about the same. I don't think we really need those. So the only thing you might want to do is if you want to do something where you want to apply it to every state, let's say that all hyperlinks should be italicized. You could do it that way. You could do A here, and then on the different states you could change it. Where did my link go? Hit refresh. Now they're italicized, and when I hover over them, they're also italicized because I did it here. Let me try something out here, though, because I don't want to mislead you. I might be incorrect. So I'm going to get rid of the A. I'm only going to apply it to the link, save my changes. If it's still italicized, I take it all back, and I take it all back. Okay. So if you're going to be doing the pseudo selectors, the only reason why you might leave this in is for really, really, really old browsers. At this point, I think we're okay. So I'm just going to get rid of it. A link. The next thing you should do is A visited. Give it a different color. A link, A visited, A hover, and only at the very end put A active. And that's only if you want to use A active. Most web designers probably only worry about A link, maybe A visited if they like to see a visited link look different, and then A hover. So these, I would say, get into all of your style sheets, all of your pages, address these different states. But active is only if you really, really want to do something different and have it while you're pressing down the button. So we'll change the color to black here so you can see what happens. So watch what happens. I hit refresh. I hover. Now when I'm holding down my button, it turns black. So it's not a very exciting selector, but it's something if for some reason you've got to have it change color while you're holding your button down. Then add active. So those are our pseudo selectors. I'm going to leave my presentation at this, and then I'm going to add yet another part where we look at more advanced list stylings. Okay.